Bobbie the Wonder Dog was a dog who's famous for walking 2,551 miles, or 4,105 kilometers, on his own to return home to Silverton, Oregon in the US, after he was lost while his owners were visiting family in Indiana. Ripley's Believe It or Not estimated the journey may have been as long as 3,000 miles, or 4,800 kilometers. In August 1923, Frank and Elizabeth Brazier and their daughters Leona and Nova were visiting relatives in Walcott, Indiana. Their 2-year-old Scotch Collie English Shepherd mixed dog Bobbie was attacked by 3 other dogs and ran away. After an extensive search, the heartbroken Brazier family were unable to find Bobbie and continued their trip before returning home to Oregon, expecting never to see their dog again. In February 1924, after 6 months had gone by, Bobbie returned to Silverton, Oregon, mangy, dirty, and scrawny, with his toenails worn down to nothing. He showed all the signs of having walked the entire distance, including swimming rivers and crossing the Continental Divide during the coldest part of winter. During his ordeal, he crossed at least 2,551 miles, 4,105 kilometers, of plains, desert, and mountains in the winter to return home. He covered approximately 14 miles, or 23 kilometers, a day. After his return to Silverton, he experienced sudden fame. His story drew national attention and was featured in numerous newspapers. He was the subject of newspaper articles including Ripley's Believe It or Not, books, and film. Bobbie played himself in the 1924 silent film The Call of the West. He received hundreds of letters from people all around the world and was honored with jewel-studded harnesses, collars, ribbons, and various keys to various cities. People who had fed and sheltered Bobbie on his journey home wrote the family to tell them about their time with Bobbie. The Humane Society of Portland was able to use these stories to assemble a relatively precise description of the route Bobbie took. The Humane Society concluded that after returning to Walcott and unable to find his owners, Bobbie initially followed their further travels into northeast Indiana. Then he struck out in several directions, apparently seeking their scent. Eventually, he headed west. During their original trip, the Braziers had parked their car in a service station each night. Their dog visited each of these stops on his journey, along with a number of homes and a homeless camp. In Portland, an Irish woman took care of him for a period of time, helping him recover from serious injuries to his legs and paws. Upon his death in 1927, he was buried with honors at the Oregon Humane Society's Pet Cemetery in Portland. A week later, German Shepherd film star Rin Tin Tin laid a wreath at his grave. His grave is sheltered by a fancy white and red doghouse, received during a promotional appearance at the Portland Home Show. The gravestone has been moved outside the house for better viewing. Bobbie's demonstration of loyalty is celebrated during Silverton's annual Children's Pet Parade that serves as a reminder of the special place animals and pets have in people's lives. The event was started several years after Bobbie's death, and the first parade was led on by his son Paul. A 70-foot-long, 21-meter outdoor painting featuring Bobbie's story is a part of a series of murals that decorate the walls of businesses in Silverton. In late 2012, responding to public sentiment that his burial location in Portland did not properly honor his story and his connection to his hometown, a grassroots movement was started by a group of people in Silverton with the goal of repatriating Bobbie's remains to Silverton for reburial and memorialization. Thank you, Bobbie, for your loyalty to your family.